What is it that really makes someone take that plunge and start a business? Is it just about having a brilliant idea, seeing a gap in the market, or is the spark something deeper, something a little more personal? Well, that's what we're going to dig into today. Let's explore what really drives that entrepreneurial leap.
All right, to really get this, we've got to start with a big real-world problem. Picture this. It's 2017 in Malaysia, and you've got 200,000, that's right, 200,000 unemployed young people. A huge pool of talent and energy, just kind of sitting there with nowhere to go.
So that begs the question, right? If it's so hard to find a job, why aren't more of these graduates just starting their own thing? What's the holdup? And that gap, that space between needing a job and creating one, well, that's the big mystery we're going to try and solve. Okay, so to crack this case, a team of researchers led by Zaina Jalil basically launched their own investigation. They played detective, trying to uncover the hidden clues. The things that predict who's going to say, you know what, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. And who were they looking at? They focused on 175 university business students. These are the folks who, on paper, should be all set to start a company, right? The whole point was to figure out what sparks that entrepreneurial intention, which is really just a fancy way of saying that moment you decide, okay, I'm actually going to do this. So the investigation zeroed in on 4 main suspects. Think of these as the key factors, the potential culprits, if you will, that might be the secret sauce for creating a future founder. Let's bring them in for questioning one by one. First up, suspect number 1, attitude. This one's pretty simple. It's all about your gut feeling. Do you look at starting a business and think, heck yeah, that's for me? Or, oh no, that's a one-way ticket to Stressville. All right, next in the lineup, subjective norms. This is basically peer pressure, but for your career. What are the people around you think? Your family, your friends? Are they in your corner cheering you on? Or are they the ones saying, why don't you just get a safe, steady job? Suspect number 3 is a bit of a mouthful. Perceived behavioral control. But all it really means is self-confidence. It's that little voice inside your head that asks, can I actually do this? Do I have what it takes? It's your personal confidence-o-meter, basically. And our final suspect, number 4, is entrepreneurship education. Simple question here. Do all those university courses and business classes actually make a difference? Do they light that fire in someone to go out and start their own company? Okay, so there's our lineup. We've got attitude, social pressure, self-belief, and education. The big question is, which one is the real ringleader? Which one truly holds the key? Well, the researchers ran the numbers and the results are in. All right, the investigation is wrapped. It is time to reveal the verdict. Let's check out the evidence and see which of our suspects were the real drivers here, and trust me, there's a bit of a twist. So it turns out the evidence pointed the finger squarely at 3 of our 4 suspects. 3 of them were found to have a real, significant connection to whether a student planned to start a business. But here's where it gets really interesting. Look at the size of those bars. It's not even close. Attitude isn't just one of the factors, it is the factor. Look at that number, 0.622. It's just massive compared to the others. It's more than 4 times as powerful as what your friends think or what you learned in class. That's a huge deal. Here's another way to look at it, just to make it crystal clear. Attitude, social norms, education, check, 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 all accepted. But look at that big red X right there. The hypothesis for perceived control, aka self-confidence, was rejected. That's our surprising twist, and we're about to dive into why. The researchers themselves couldn't have been more direct. They literally said, and I quote, attitude towards the behavior was found to be the most influential factor. So at the end of the day, it really just boils down to how you feel about being an entrepreneur. Okay, so we know attitude is king, and social support and education help. But what about that one suspect that got away? The one that, honestly, everyone probably thought would be a huge deal, but wasn't. This is the big surprise of the whole study. Believe it or not, it was a student's own confidence in their skills. That's right, how skilled or capable they thought they were. It didn't really make a difference in whether they planned to start a business. Kind of blows your mind, right? So, what's the deal with that? Why didn't confidence matter? Well, the researchers have a theory. They think it might be something called low self-efficacy. Basically, even though these were business students, they might have felt like, sure, I know this stuff from a textbook, but can I do it in the real world? That book smarts hadn't turned into real gut-level confidence yet, so it just wasn't a factor in their decision-making at this point.
Okay, so what do we do with all this information? Well, it's actually super useful. It gives us a clear roadmap. If we want to tackle that big unemployment number we started with, this study basically hands us the playbook for where to put our energy.
It all boils down to a pretty simple 3-step plan. Number 1, nurture a positive attitude. Make entrepreneurship seem exciting and achievable, not just a list of tasks. Number 2, build a supportive community. We know that having people in your corner matters. And number 3, make education practical. Get students out of the textbook and into real-world scenarios.
So here's the bottom line, the big takeaway from all of this. Your mindset and your environment, what you believe and who believes in you, that can be way more powerful than just a list of skills you think you have. It seems that entrepreneurial spark is lit by passion and support, not just by a resume.
And that leaves us with one last kind of huge question to think about. If attitude is the master key that unlocks everything, if it's the most important piece of the puzzle for creating our future innovators, then how on earth do you teach someone to believe?